We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
This has potential for being a major disaster here. Look at that.
There was a loud sound that I can only describe as it sounded like a missile, not an airplane. Then there was a loud explosion and immediately lots of screaming out on the street. It does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That looks like a second plane.
You have no idea right now.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit. Right, oh my God. Another plane has just hit. It hit another building. Flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. My God, it's right in the middle of the building.
On the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 terrorists from the terrorist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 American commercial airplanes. The attack on American soil began at 8:46 a.m. when American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Moments later, United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. The third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m. The passengers on the fourth plane, United Airlines Flight 93, managed to gain control of the plane from the terrorists, but the plane unfortunately crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. In just under 2.5 hours, the terrorists killed nearly 3,000 people from 93 nations. According to the 9/11 Memorial website, 2,753 people were killed in New York, 184 people were killed at the Pentagon, and 40 people were killed on Flight 93.
Following the attack, several agencies were given the duty to assist with the cleanup and search and recovery around Ground Zero. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA, worked with the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, to test the air for toxins dispersed by the falling rubble, and to report when workers were allowed to return to work. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, provided funds for New York and assisted with the removal of rubble, the repair and upgrade of the city's infrastructure, and replacement of the various New York Police Department and New York City Fire Department vehicles destroyed in the attack. The U.S. military also got involved by the order of President Bush, and the U.S. Navy was responsible for giving food, shelter, and medical aid to over 10,000 relief workers. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, commonly known as the FBI, started an operation called Pentagon Twin Towers Bombing Investigation, also known as the Pent Bomb. It is currently the largest criminal inquiry of the history of the FBI, and their primary mission is to try to root out the hijackers.
President Bush, at the time of the attack, was reading a book to a group of children. Once he finished reading the book, he was then ushered onto Air Force One. There, he was informed about a fourth plane that was headed towards Washington. His first move as Commander-in-Chief was to order the plane to be shot down by a fighter aircraft. However, the plane's passengers charged the hijackers in the plane cockpit, and it crashed without the attack from the fighter aircraft. President Bush was unable to address the nation on Air Force One because of the lack of satellite signal. When he landed, he was finally able to address the nation in the White House.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America. Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful, and it's prepared. Our emergency teams are working in New York City and Washington, D.C. to help with local rescue efforts. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you. Good night, and God bless America.
The Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, was originally the Office of Homeland Security. It was promoted to permanent cabinet-level department status after Congress passed the Homeland Security Act in 2002. According to the DHS website, the DHS has 5 core missions: to prevent terrorism and enhance security, secure and manage our borders, enforce and administer our immigration laws, safeguard and secure cyberspace, and to ensure resilience to disasters. The DHS's counterterrorism responsibilities include the prevention of terrorism, importation, movement, and the use of chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear weapons within the United States. The DHS also aims to reduce the vulnerability of critical infrastructure, key resources, and major events from terrorist attacks. In further efforts to prevent terrorism, according to the Transportation Security Administration's website, the TSA was created in the wake of 9/11 to strengthen the security of the nation's transportation systems while ensuring the freedom of movement for people and commerce. Congress also responded to the attack by passing a $40 billion disaster relief bill and also passing the U.S. Patriot Act, which gave investigators more leeway in their domestic surveillance activities and made immigration laws more strict.
On May 2nd, 2011, SEAL Team 6 carried out a Central Intelligence Agency-led operation called Operation Neptune Spear. The operation called for the raid on Osama bin Laden's compound, killing Osama bin Laden. The bin Laden's killing was welcomed by the United Nations, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the European Union, and a large number of governments. However, Al-Qaeda and other Pakistani and militant groups publicly proclaimed and vowed for the vengeance on the US and the Pakistan government for the death of Osama bin Laden.
Due to Al-Qaeda's devastating attack on U.S. soil using planes transporting American citizens, both the government and the people have been shocked into creating additional safety measures and implementing the Transportation Security Administration, or the TSA's Secure Flight Program. By working under the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, the TSA sets up and enforces new security measures and identifies individuals that may pose a threat to aviation or national security and designate them for special screening. As a result of this increase in security measures, Americans have sacrificed their comfort and ease in exchange for their own safety. However, this sacrifice is not in vain. It is needed in order to protect the lives and well-being of their fellow Americans and to prevent a tragedy of this magnitude from ever occurring again.